Hi, everyone. I am here. I am waiting for some people to come in and we will get going. I've just started diffusing some really good oils. It's good. That's great. Hi, Kim. Hi, Kim. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Miss Kim? Yay. Yay. I'm glad you're here, Kim. All right. So, perfectly, she says. Yay. All right. So, I have the chat open. I'm so excited to be here with you this evening. I'm going to give it just one more minute for technology to catch up on us, with us. I have some really exciting, I have some really great information, some things that I have never shared before as insights for this evening's time together. So I am excited for our time together. If you're here, say hi to us. Jump on. I'm gonna lost audio. I have somebody who says they've lost audio. Who might that be? How's everybody else hearing me? Yep, my audio's on this end. No. Thank you, Cynthia. Cindy, it may be on your end because I just double checked my audio here. It is on my end. So double check your settings. Make sure you're not muted, and ask for universal support for that. Okay, everybody. So let me. Here we go. All is good, Melody says. I reconnected and you see me. Hi. Okay, let's get back to sharing the screen. I don't see the screen share. Do you see my screen, people? Do you see my screen? Nope, not yet, you say. Not yet, you say. Okay, so we're going to do this. So I would love to do a temperature check. Temperature check is just kind of, how are you doing? How are you doing? What is going on in your lives? It's not an easy time. This worked this morning, so let me just double check here. Technology. This platform is one that I have not used in 2 years, which is really exciting because I really wanted to take it off of Zoom. I wanted to take it off of Facebook and do this here and now. Okay, so as we begin, I want everybody to take a couple of deep breaths, a couple of cleansing breaths. I'll do the housekeeping now. Housekeeping. If you have a moment and you don't have a pen and paper, go get that because you may want to take some notes today. If you need to go to the bathroom, I hope that you have water or wine and are in really comfortable clothes. If not, your jammies. I've got my softest sweater on today. It is the first day of spring, and I'm so excited about that. With everything going on in the world, and it would behoove us to acknowledge that right now, that we have a moment in time in history, right, that is exponentially affecting each and every one of us. So it's really a time that allows you to get centered, leave that out there, turn off your notifications, and allow yourself to align with your inner wisdom. So we're going to do a couple of deep cleansing breaths to get together, to come here now. And I'm going to put a couple of essential oil drops on me. I don't need much with this blend. It is the Courage blend. And as you center, I want your feet firmly on the floor, or imagining in your mind's eye that they are firmly on the floor. And I want everything else with each breath to relax, breathing in love and exhale any energy that does not serve your highest good. Breathing in love, exhaling any energy that does not serve your highest good, and breathing in love. And I'm going to call upon Mother Earth, Spirit, Sky, all of our angels, our guides, Spirit, to join us tonight, to support us in learning, in growing, so that we can continue to glow in our most magnificent way possible. As we travel through this space and time, we know that time is eternal. And we can go back in time and shift forward in time and rest in the knowing that now is only a sliver of time. So it is. Excellent. Great. So my slides still aren't loading. Yay. All right, let's try this one more time. Oh, where did it go? Oh. And I had it all ready about a half hour ago. It was sitting there. It was lined up. The universe is unlining things, relining things. It really is a testament to how things are in the world right now. They are changing moment to moment as we talk, right? So if I cannot get this going, then I will just talk. Hi, Sheila. How are you? How are you? Come on. You can share my screen. I know you can. All's well. All is well. Ah. Now can you see in this little corner in the bottom left-hand side? Can you see the screen now? I've used 10 minutes of your most valuable time right now. Can we see the screen? Yes. Hi, Cindy. Thank you. Okay. So let's begin. We've got it. We've centered. We're ready. We've got it. Okay. So I talked about some housekeeping. Turn off your notifications. Get comfortable. Let's be together here and now. With your pen and pencil, just let it float across the paper. As you take notes, don't make it the hardcore, got to take notes like you would in a class, so to speak, but just let your pen wash across the paper, doodle, use the words that resonate with you, cross out a word that you write down and replace it with one that might be meaningful for yourself. Ask questions. I will be stopping a couple of times during the presentation to answer them, and stay till the end, because as always in my webinars, I typically will do some oracle card readings, okay? So here we go. Why your inner knowing? Why is understanding this thing that's inside of us so important? What is it? What is your inner knowing? It's our intuition. It's our soul's truth. It is that which aligns us with spirit. It is that which supports us in embracing the connection to source energy while we are walking this earth. That's why it's important, because it is our truth, and everything else can glum up on us. Our emotions, our mind, our overthinking, people's influences, the energy in our homes, in our the places that we work, where we go, even when we stay cloistered. And I'll talk about the word cloistered in a little bit. It is our own inner truth. And it is vital for us to connect to that so that we are taking discerning steps, making choices that are in alignment with our highest good, now more than ever. And if you've started embracing this, that's awesome. And you are on that bicycle and you can start riding a little bit more. If you are new to the concept of really beginning to follow your own inner intuition, now more than ever, we need you to do that. And it's like getting on a tricycle and riding the tricycle and then getting on the bike. It's a skill set that anybody can learn. So where do you find it and where do you understand it? You find it inside of yourself. You find it in those quiet moments of peace. You find it in places you never realized you would find it, in the time of morning magic, when you're journaling, when you're taking a shower, when you're walking down the street and you see a sign and it confirms everything that you've been thinking. You find it in the most unusual spaces. And how do you understand it? Where do you find it and understand it? Well, you understand it with those confirmations, with those signs from the universe. You understand it by having faith and trust and confidence in yourself. That's how you understand it. How do you follow it? It's by being your own CEO, being the CEO of yourself and making confident and courageous steps and taking one in front of the other. Sometimes those confident, courageous steps can feel very simple. I got up today and I didn't want to. That's a confident and courageous step. They can be very hard. You pick up the phone to have a very difficult conversation. That's a confident and courageous step, right? That's how you follow it, with the trust and faith in yourself. And that is one of the things that I hear over and over and over from my clients, that they don't have the confidence and the courage to follow it. And that is something that we'll be addressing. How do I know this works? Because I've been doing this for the last 25 years. I have been doing this since the day that I wanted to leave this earthly plane, and I chose not to. That was a courageous step. I was in the depths of depression, and it was a heart-wrenching evening. And I was sitting with lots of paraphernalia that could have ended my life. And when you sit in that dark recess of time, and then you come forward and you say, no, I'm going to go on. It's hard, but it gets easier. I've done it because working with a really great counselor, and he asked me to take a breath. He asked me to lie down, and he put a book on top of my belly. And he said, take a breath. And my abdomen did not move. It did not move up at all when I took that breath. And we worked for 15 minutes. And I call that work my spiritual breathing, my first spiritual breath. Since then, the ride has been bumpy and jerky and wonderful all at the same time. I am now a master soul coach, practitioner, and trainer. Not only do I support people's soul coaching, but I train people to be soul coaches. I am a gateway dream coach. That's what GDC means. I am a certified oracle card reader. I'm an interior alignment practitioner. I am a what is CCC? Clutter clearing coach and consultant. And more. I'm a certified integrative aromatherapist. I am certified in cranial sacral therapy, facial reflexology practitioner, and a licensed and certified massage therapist. Why am I sharing all of that with you? For two reasons. One is I've studied a lot. It was one of my family's most important principles is that you study so that you can share, right? We are a family of teachers, and studying is very important. It was instilled in me at a very, very young age. And so I did. When I was coming out of this dark recess of time, I started stepping forward into holistic principles and recognizing that some of the things I learned as a child no longer applied to me. Had to shift all of those beliefs, had to excavate them, and had to release them to step into hearing my own truth. The truth is, I don't need any of those certifications to do what I do. Right? While I have them and they are the foundation for the work that I do, I no longer need that because I go into the recesses of my truth. I listen to it, I hear it, I understand it, and I make discerning decisions based upon it to step forward confidently and courageously. So it's this mix of more, my goodness, I've learned all this stuff, but really it's my own inner wisdom that has to guide me, not any of those pieces that I've learned. You can do this too. You can follow your own truth wherever you've come from in your life. And I know we've come from lots of different places with lots of different hurts and challenges. And indeed, we are in the midst of the biggest challenge for all of us, for the entire world right now. The Mother Earth is crying out, and we are in the middle of it. And she is asking for us to listen to what's best for us and to take those steps forward courageously. So, who are you? Who are you? You are a spiritual being in the form of a walking, talking, emotional human. You are a spiritual being in the form of a walking, talking, emotional human being. And that's great. When you step into this awareness and this understanding, regardless of your religious affiliation, if you have any indeed, we are all spiritual. We all have a soul, an inner guidance system. How you connect to it and your belief may be different from person to person, but we all have it. And we are all walking, talking, and emotional human beings. And right now, in the world, there are a lot of walking, talking, emotional human beings spinning out of control, stepping into fear, and not truly understanding that in every single moment, all is fine. Every single moment, all is fine. And moment to moment, we can shift forward and back in time. And that's a whole huge, long lesson in quantum physics right there. So we just have to take it down to that second, that mini second of time to know that we are all fine. We are made up of physiological, emotional, and self-fulfilling desires. So I want to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs right now. And if you ever took any psychology in college or high school even, you probably were introduced to this idea that we have a hierarchy of needs. And when they are met or not met, we go up and down this scale. So from the physiological point of view, we live in the foundation of who we are in this triangle. We need air, we need water, we need food, we need shelter. We as human beings need security. We need to feel safe. When we don't feel safe, we are rocked to the core. And when we don't have air, when we don't have water, when we don't have health, when we don't have food, we don't feel safe. And when we're not resting well, we don't feel secure. These are things that we have to have in our life, is this physiological foundation for ourselves. That's the lowest hierarchy of needs possible. Then we go into the emotional aspect of who we are. When we are humans, we need belonging. Human beings need connection. And that's the biggest challenge right now with this coronavirus, is that we're feeling disconnected. We need to feel love. We need the support of our friends and our family. All of these things then step up and support us with strength, self-esteem, and freedom, that sense of freedom. This is the next phase of what our needs are. When those needs are satisfied, we go up into self-fulfillment prophecy. We go into creativity and living one's truth. We start fulfilling one's purpose, our purpose in life. When our physiological needs and our emotional needs are met, we step into this next phase of being and we start living one's truth. And that's the biggest step up in this hierarchy of needs. It's easy to get physiological needs met. For the most part, in the first world, we're not living in the third world. So if for the most part, our physiological needs are met. Then there are emotional ones. As you grow and you learn to become independent and strong, those emotional ones become met. And that's why self-fulfillment becomes so vital, especially for women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, when they've stepped out of that time of motherhood, when their careers are settled in a way. Then we start saying, what is it that's possible? Because we've satisfied our emotional needs. The challenge with the time that we're living in right now is that emotional need of connection and freedom is being stripped from us. The challenge of the time right now is that our security, our sense of safety is being stripped from us. And when we cannot satisfy these two, and it is possible to satisfy those things right now, but when we don't, there is no capability to fulfill your purpose, because you're in this fear-based living. You're in a place of stress. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs is critical to understanding who you are as a walking, talking, and emotional being. Does this make sense to you all? Share some thoughts there as I keep going. It's important to get this concept, because when your physiological needs are met, when your emotional needs are met, you do live one's truth. And that is what I am all about, supporting you to live your truth. So we have to go to the basics here. And the basics that I live and preach upon is the 4-element theory. And that allows you to have your physiological needs met. It allows you to have your emotional needs met. When you live through the 4-element theory, you can get into this self-fulfillment place when you live in the 4-element theory. The 4-element theory is the Native American. It goes beyond that as well. But it basically says that as walking, talking, and emotional human beings, we use our mind, we have our emotions, we have our soul, and we have our physical body. When we do this, when we connect the elements to those aspects of who we are and we use them, we can soothe our emotions. We get our physiological needs met. So the air over here, represented by the kites, is the element that's most associated closely with our mind and our thinking. Let's go get a breath of fresh air and allow ourselves to clear our minds before we continue a discussion. It's a typical response. So if we can keep our mindset positive and open and not clouded with beliefs that no longer serve us or negative, unhappy thoughts, we can aspire into that self-fulfilling hierarchy of needs. The second element, water, is most associated with our emotions and what we right now need most. We need to use water to soothe those emotions. How many of you have had some emotions over the last week? I'll raise my hand. I have had them, and I believe that if you do not let emotions run their course, they will stay with you and hold you back. If you don't allow yourself to feel anxious, when you don't allow yourself to feel the pain, the hurt. For me, I closed down my body work practice last week. I've been out of that practice for a week. And while I've gone on vacation from it, and I've stepped back from it by choice, I used to do 25 clients a week. I'm doing 25 clients a month. But those clients have been with me forever. And so when I chose, because it's the right, moral, ethical thing to do, in my humble opinion, to close that down right now, I felt like it was gut-wrenching. Felt like I was getting a divorce. And so I had to process those feelings. I had to have some emotional upheaval and let the tears flow, because tears are water and they help support us getting back to homeostasis. And I know Kim says definitely she's had some emotional feelings and upheaval right now. And I get that. And that's why it's so important to support yourself in any possible way that you can, to allow these emotions to flow so that you can get back to growing and glowing through your own inner wisdom. The third element is fire, and fire is our spiritual self. It is the one that's most closely aligned with our soul, that piece that is connected to the universe and source energy. Let's fire it up. Let's get passionate, right? That's fire. That's what it does for you. And I will tell you, I am burning more candles. I am looking at the orange in my office more often. I am diffusing citrus energy, because that's, you think of an orange and that's fire, right? I'm diffusing citrus in my office so that I can continue to connect to my soul's truth. And then the fourth aspect of the 4-element theory is earth. And that's grounding, so that our physical bodies can support our soul, our soul's truth, the reason we are here walking on the earth. And when we can ground physically and take care of ourselves, so that, when you don't feel well, it's really hard to access your inner wisdom. So part of this connecting to earth energy is about taking care of yourself. It's about drinking water and eating healthy foods and connecting with herbs and essential oils and going out and putting your hands in the earth so that you feel its strength, so that you can then connect to that when you need to. So the 4-element theory is all about connecting to who you are. So as a walking, talking, emotional human person, you can settle down the anxious walking and fumbling around. You can settle down the talking and calmly be able to express compassionately your truth and soothe your emotions so that you can hear that inner wisdom for yourself. Typically, people actually go and do this naturally for themselves so that they can step through that physiological hierarchy of need, step through the emotional hierarchy of need, and get to the elements of living your truth in self-fulfillment hierarchy. We typically do this ourselves, right? Go wash your face so that you feel better, so that you soothe those tears. Take a shower. How many of you have taken a shower and gotten this like download of something that you need to do? It's because you're letting the water rinse off the day, rinse off any thoughts and emotions, and you can then allow that source energy to come through. And grounding, stepping in, hiking, and using earth energy. I hug trees all the time. Right now, because I am self-cloistered, I am talking a lot to the trees. I'm going out and I'm stepping through our woods and I'm connecting to earth energy to stay grounded, to stay strong. So I want to talk about ways to ground our walking, talking, emotional human being to continue to hear our spiritual self. And I want to walk you through what mantras are. And they're magical and they're mystical mantras. They are things that we say to ourselves over and over and over again in order to get back into that space of spiritual self. They can be mantras to release limiting beliefs. They can be mantras to step into courageous and confident action. So some of you have heard this story before, but I was out running on the day shortly after the Boston bombings. And I was out running, preparing for a road race in, of all places, Boston. The bombers were still at large, and it was a chaotic time, much like the one that we're in. Although now it's just continues to be exponential, these crises in human nature. So I'm out running and I fall down. I have a weak ankle and it turns every now and then, and I fell down and I started emoting. I started crying. I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to run. And do I trust that things in Boston will calm down? Will the race even happen in Boston? So I was very much in that emotional space. And I got up and I started walking. And this mantra came to me as I was walking. And then I said it over and over and over again. And I'll walk through the mantra with you specifically. I said it over and over again, and I started believing it. And all of a sudden, I didn't feel my ankle, which was hurting, but I didn't feel it. And I not only started walking, but I started running. And I went past my driveway. And before I knew where I was a mile down the road on the opposite side of the driveway. I had to turn around and run a mile back on an ankle that probably shouldn't have been running on, right? Because of this mantra. And what I recognize in this mantra is that it fits Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right? So let's go through this. The first thing I said to myself was, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And I said that over and over and over again until I believed it. Remember, hierarchy of need, physiological need to feel safe. The second thing that started running in my mind was, I'm supported. I am safe. I am supported. I am safe. I am supported. Indeed, I had in my jogging bra a list of names of people who had donated to this fundraising race. And it was right there. And I touched it and I felt their love and their support and their cheering me on. Right? Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that emotional need to feel supported. to feel strong. I am safe, I am supported, I am strong. And these words, just until I believed them, they kept repeating over and over and over in my mind. And once I believed the next sentence of this mantra, a new one would just fall right down into me. I'm successful. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right at that spot between the emotional needs and the self-fulfilling needs, is that sense that you can do anything, that you are here for a purpose. I am safe, I am supported, I am strong, I am successful. Once that set in, the next one came. I am spirit. I am safe, I am supported, I am strong, I am successful, I am spirit. I am safe, I am supported, I am strong, I am successful, I am spirit. Look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs: physiological, emotional, and self-fulfilling. When you have met the needs in the physiological point, you go to the emotional ones. When you've met those needs, you go to the self-fulfilling ones. And this mantra helps do exactly that. Exactly that. So I share it with you tonight so that you can use these words whenever you are feeling less than confident and less than courageous. But these may not actually be the ones that feel right for you. I've worked with many, many clients, and we've gone through this aspect of physiological, emotional, and self-fulfilling needs. And we've come up with many different mantras for them, because each person is an individual. And each person has different limiting beliefs that they need to overcome. So I share this with you as a beginning for you to step through it. Okay? I hope that serves you. If you have any questions about magical, mystical mantras, throw them into the chat, and I will take a sip of water and we'll keep going. I want to talk to you about other grounding techniques. And this really is about soothing your emotions. So while I have, I'm talking about grounding, I have an image here of the water, right? And it's all about flow. There's flow in this water. And that's what spiritual awakening tools are. They help you flow. And they are all about allowing yourself to grow and glow, learn them, and then you can have this toolbox for whenever you need things for confidence and courage. So here's some other grounding techniques. There's drumming. And when I'm using this as just a representation about music, you can use, as I did at the beginning, a singing bowl. You can use very good meditative music. But what drumming does, which is really nice right now, is it creates a rhythm. It creates a rhythm. And if you can align it with your heartbeat, you can fasten your heartbeat, or if your heartbeat is too fast, you can slow your heartbeat down. And it's a really good way to calm things down. I was working with a client this morning, and she is now a homeschooling mama, and she's like, what do I do with these people? And one of the techniques that we were learning was how to use drumming to support them to feel grounded themselves. Another grounding technique is aromatherapy, using essential oils to support you, choosing the right ones. Do you need to be elevated up? Citrus will do that. Do you need to be calmed down? Lavender is the essential oil of choice. And blending them. Oils, scents are really important to us. You have to be really careful about scents because they are medicine. They are nature's medicine, and you need to know how they work. I got into essential oils because a friend of mine gave me pine and said, "Oh, you love the forest," and I do love the forest. And we used pine on my body, and then all of a sudden I'm allergic to it because I was allergic to pine, and I got even more allergic to it. So you have to be really cautious about using them from a a physiological aspect. But you also have to be cautious about using them from a psychological aspect, because in a good way and not so good way, they can bring you back to memories that you might need to get over, or you might need to embrace. So for me, I loved going and visiting my grandmama, because you walked into her house, and specifically into her powder room, and there is no other scent on this earth like her powder room. But I'll go into an apothecary and I'll get a whiff of that, and it brings me back to her, and it's joyful for me. So this is what scents and aromatherapy can do for you. They can elevate you up and they can ground you down. Whoopsie. The next grounding tool is really focusing in on your purpose, your higher calling. And one of the ways to do that is to create a vision board. Vision boards are a living and breathing, even though they may seem static, tool for you to know what your inner truth is. When you go deep into understanding them, there is so much wisdom that your soul has put down lovingly for you while you've created this work of art, that can help ground you at times when you need them. So if you look up, I have one for my health. I moved it into my office over the weekend because I just felt like it was a very grounding tool. And indeed, it says calm and collected right at the top. So we have these grounding tools and techniques to allow us to get into that inner wisdom. Morning miracles. I've been talking about morning magic in the Living Your Truth community group for a couple of months now, and using that time when you first get up, because that is a time when you're closest to your soul's truth. And those that of you who have known me for any time know that I am the lover of the lake, and this is an image of what my morning look like at the lake. I have my journal and I have the reading. I got my coffee mug, my favorite coffee mug, and I sit down there and I listen to nature and I go inward. Grounding is about going inward to hear your truth. And when you can learn how to do that, your truth, it just bubbles up. Words matter. We talked about the mantra and making sure that you're using appropriate words so that those hierarchy of needs are being met now more than ever. Now more than ever. It's really important to be able to be physiologically strong, emotionally strong, so that you can step forward living your truth. Using oracle cards are a great way to get wisdom. When you sit still and you pull a card and it has an image that you need to connect to, there are nuances in that image or the words or the affirmation that's on that card that absolutely support you. There are no mistakes when you pull an oracle card, and the coincidences are profound. And of course, one of the best ways to ground yourself is just to use Mother Nature. Use the sun, use the earth, use the water to ground yourself so that you can access that inner truth. And it's not easy right now. It is not easy right now. But when you develop these skills, and it doesn't take all that time, when you are really embracing them and getting some guidance from somebody who knows. We always take wisdom, right? I always work with somebody who knows a little bit more than I do, because it shortens my learning curve. It shortens the time for me between A and C if I'm looking at somebody else. Because when we try to recreate things for ourselves, that's great. You can get there. Honestly, it took me about 15 years to get from my deepest, darkest depression to a point where depression just is not part of my circumstances anymore. And I know it will not be a part of my circumstances in this lifetime. And I've broken that belief. And so in my next lifetimes, I won't bring that back with me. But it doesn't have to take you 15 years. You can shorten that time frame when you align yourself with others who are using these techniques, and you can learn from them. Your soul whispers to you. It truly does beckon you to open up to all the possibilities before you. And where does it begin? It begins with support. So let's talk about support right now more than ever. There's a theory that I've worked with a lot, and it's really like so uber simple to do and yet so profoundly hard to act upon. Super easy to know and profoundly hard to act upon. And I'll share a story with you that happened yesterday with this principle. Support for yourself and for support for others. Absolutely imperative right now. Where and who do you look to for support for yourself, and where and who and how do you support others? The ring theory of support is a model that a lot of cancer patients and their educators are embracing. But it is one that can be for anybody going through any challenging times, which means it's for everybody. Okay? So the theory is basically support in to the affected person, to the person who's going through that thing, whether it's cancer, whether it's a child learning to ride a bike and who's fallen over and over and over again, or fallen off the horse, so to speak. Support into the affected person and dump out. So you're encouraging, you're holding sacred space for the affected person. And if you need to dump and emote and converse about the challenges, you dump out. You don't dump that to the affected person. And there are rings with this theory. Right? So the second ring is significant others. They're going through this challenge. A mother is going through the challenge of her child trying to ride a bike. Right now, a mother is going through the challenge of her child being isolated and not going to school in so many communities. That's the significant other. The next ring out is your true friends, almost the significant other people in your life, those people that you turn to all the time, the ones that you love, the ones that you just feel like they are soul sisters. The next ring out are colleagues, right? The mother can talk to the colleagues about the challenges of her child being at home and isolated right now. Okay? The colleagues cannot dump into that mother when they're talking about that, because that's not supportive. That's not holding sacred space for them. The last ring really is curious eyes, those looky-loos, those people that are kind of watching in to see how things are doing, the voyeurs, if you will. You can dump out to them all you want, but do not listen to them because they don't know how to support in. Okay? So this is the ring theory of support. Here's the challenge with the ring theory of support right now in the day and time of history in the world is everybody's the affected person. Everyone is the affected person. And so how do we support in when we are the ones needing it? How do we do that? How do we not dump in on everybody who's affected? I have two thoughts on that. The first is you have to know what that person is truly going through. So you have to listen compassionately. And then you have to decide whether they're the person zero or whether you are. So the example is, I was talking with my sister-in-law yesterday, and she has just lost her mother about 2 weeks ago. And we were talking, and we're true friends, right? Because we're family. And we were talking, and I was listening to her, and she was talking. My brother is a lacrosse coach. He will not be having a lacrosse season this year, more than likely. And he's going through some things. And then she started asking me about body work and my business and, how that's going to affect things. And I started saying, because she asked, so now I'm feeling like I'm the affected person. And I made an insensitive comment because it was mine. It was what I was feeling. I said, I feel like it's gut wrenching for me not to be able to support these people. It's as gut wrenching as when my mom died. Yikes. Yikes. And I feel horrible about that. But I was the affected person then, or so I thought, right? And I was looking for support from her. But it wasn't the right kind of support from her. She couldn't give it to me then. Right? So I really should have looked at that situation and said, she's the affected person right now. I'll hold sacred space for her and I will go get support somewhere else. Does that make sense to you? And I share that vulnerably because I feel horrible about it. I've released that. I'll move forward from it. But it really underscores for me the importance of this theory right now. That we need to give support to people and get support from people in a very, very, very compassionate way. And we need to know when to support our significant others and when to be the affected person and know the hierarchy of this concentric ring now more than ever. Does that make sense to people? Support compassionately. Find your tribe. So since that happened, I was reminded of it. And I'm really going to my sacred family. I'm going to my sacred family and I'm listening during those conversations for what they need in the moment and whether they are the affected person or whether I am. So my dogs are sacred family, right? This is part of my life. This is who I am. This is what I've gathered over 25 years of being able to live my truth. I know dogs are my life. They are part of my life. They will always be part of my life. They're wags and they're love and it's unconditional, right? Right? I can be the affected person with my dogs around all the time. My dad over here, he has always, always, always allowed me to be the affected person. It is shifting. It's been shifting over the last 6 or 7 years. It is very apparent in our conversations right now that he is now the affected person because of the time we're in. And so I have to lovingly shift my sacred support and holding that space for him. This group of amazing women are my camp sisters. They are my soul friends from when I really started embracing 4-element theory, which was back when I was a young girl at camp. And this is 4 sets of sisters. Right? So it's an older sister, younger sister, older sister, younger sister, younger sister, older sister, older sister, younger sister. The 4 older sisters are all about the same age. The 4 younger sisters are all about the same age. And we have become one family. I've picked up the phone to them. I picked up the phone and said, I need support right now. I am, quote unquote, the affected person, right? And I'm getting support from that. This is my Jenny and my sister. They are sacred family. And of course, my big guy, the guy that I've been with for 19 years. And truly, right now, he's going through life in a very normal way. He gets up, he goes to work, he comes home. He has to enter the house very differently because I'm making him strip and take a shower the second he gets in the house. But he works as a defense contractor and he will have to go to work. So he's just going in and out. I choose to be the affected person. And I talked with him about that. So I'm looking to him for support. So you have to understand in this concentric theory of support, who you can get support from and who you dump out to. I used to dump to my dad all the time. It is not possible to dump to my father in the circumstances that the world is in history right now. But I can dump to my dogs. I can cry with them, and they will wag, and they'll come up, and they'll hug me, and they just say, it's all okay, Laura. So take a moment and think, who are the people where you can be the center affected person, and how you can get support from others, and where you need to be the supportee of an affected person. And the roles may shift, and that's why I ask that you really sit compassionately and listen into your relationships now more than ever. Soul family, connect with your soul family. These are people who I have aligned with heart and soul. We are all building amazing businesses that help connect you to your inner truth, whether it's Jeannie here in the upper left-hand corner who helps people build their businesses, or my best friend, my best soul coaching friend, Felicia, right underneath her, where she and I are doing very much the same things, and we have each other's back. Or whether it's this bright light Katie in the center, who is just a dream. She's a productivity coach, but she and I just connect. We were in Boston in October. We spent 27 hours together. We shared a hotel room for our meetings, and for we were together 27 hours, and I think we slept for 6, and we didn't stop talking. Literally, we had sore throats, by the time we gave hugs goodbye. That's soul. That's soul to soul. And my soul family is also made up of my mentors. This is Denise Lynn, who I've trained with, and she's a Hay House author, and she's an amazing bright light. And I picked up the phone and I talked to her this week. And then there's Kelly down here. We've written books together, and we just connect. And these are women. Some of them are in my Living Your Truth Sisterhood, and some of them are in other associations with me. And we just connect, and we support each other. And we are the affected person in that ring of support, and we are the supportive people. Even in the mentoring relationship, there is a reciprocity of knowing who is that affected person. And I want you to look into your life. Do you have that core group that you can go to? And I certainly hope you do. And that's what's important, is being able to create and be in community with people that you can share any challenge that you're going through. So what will you do to shift into your soul's truth? What will you do to shift into it? Will you continue to do what you're doing, or will you grow? Will you hear it now more than ever? Will you begin to hear it? Will you expand the hearing of it? Will you begin to understand it? Will you expand the understanding? Will you begin to align with it? Will you expand the alignment of it? It's easy to do nothing, because the world is a walking, talking human craziness right now out there with all of the input, right? It's easy to do nothing and set into the fear, or it's time for a shift. What will you do to shift into your soul's truth? You can continue to do what you're doing. You can move and shift and change and grow and learn some new tools, learn some new, have new opportunities for growth in your life. What will you do to shift into your soul's truth? Now more than ever, you need to lead with it. You need to make discerning decisions based on that inner wisdom, that gut, and not based upon the social media postings, not based upon what your closest friends are saying you should do or shouldn't do. If I listened to what my closest friends had been saying last week, I would not have shut my massage practice down as early as I did. And I, for one, am very glad that I did, because for my truth, it was the moral and ethical thing to do, not to have somebody in that room for a full hour where I'm touching them. We're not even having social distance, right? I was the leader. I made that choice early because I checked in with my soul's truth. Now more than ever, you need to lead with your truth. How do you do that? How do you find support for finding calm in the midst of chaos, for centering in the midst of turmoil, and for peace in the midst of war? We're at war with this virus. How do you find support for it? How do you find the calm, the centering, and the peace? When you learn to do that now more than ever, it's going to make life so easy and so peaceful when we get back to homeostasis, and we will. This is just a moment in history. And when we can step through it, understanding our truth, living by its wisdom, the simple things in life will be a cakewalk. And the harder things in life, and life continues to happen. And it will always continue to happen. So how will you find calm, centering, and peace for yourself? You hear it, you align with it, and you lead with it. That's where you get it. You use the magical, mystical mantras. You understand your hierarchy of needs and where you are in that. Do you need physiological support, rest, healing, nutrition, air, good fresh air? Do you need emotional support? Do you need soul support? Where do you need support at any given moment? How do you go get that? How when you are that center person, do you get support in so that people don't dump continually on you? One of the answers is the Living Your Truth Sisterhood. And so this is the second anniversary of the Living Your Truth Sisterhood, and I am opening. It's the first day of spring. The planned open enrollment was back in October, so I am opening it now more than ever. It's needed. It's a place to learn these tools and to master the ones you've already been using on your journey to self-growth. It's a virtual community, virtual now more than ever, right? For soulful entrepreneurs and you creatives who are on the path to greater success. It's a community that explores and empowers each other in growing their own intuition and living their day with greater compassion, creativity, and courage. And honestly, there is no judgment in this group. There is no shooting on one another in this group. As a member, you'll learn how to use these tools to harness your inner power, understand the laws of the universe, and how to use them to manifest this truth, to bring it forward, to bring it up, and be supported by like-minded, soulful women. We look at the concentric rings of support. Here it is. You're the affected person. This is your tribe for support. We will love on you, we will support on you, and we will go dump out. We will not dump upon you. So some people, been saying that I'm pretty good to work with. Danielle, who reached back out to me. She's been a client of mine in the past, and she actually reached back out to me because her life has crashed over the last 2 weeks. She runs tours to Italy, and we've spent some time going back and doing a refresher, if you will, through a VIP day. And she calls me practical, implementable, and quick support, like I'm a spiritual Sherpa for her. And what she likes is that I walk my own talk. And I do. I walk my talk, people. I don't do anything. I don't tell you to do anything that I don't do myself. Kelly, who actually is in the sisterhood right now, just says there's so much value in one person, and that I bring it to each session with her and hold that sacred space of empowerment and meet her so that she can align and believe in herself. Mary is a wonderful, she is just an angel, and she says that I radiate love and compassion the first time that she met me. And I take her to a deeper level, helping her bring her own vision alive. And I could go on and on and on, having worked in this industry really for the last 20 years. So I like the fact that I'm the founder of the Wise Living Institute, and I like the fact that I am that calm in the port for so many people. That's my purpose. My purpose is to support you to awaken your truth and to be that calm port in the midst of a storm for everybody. In the membership, it includes monthly lessons to align with your soul's truth. When you come in, you get a membership portal that has over 20 different pieces of content. You start with the 4 pillar pieces when you come in, and you go through those and then expand from there. I walk you through that process so that you don't get overwhelmed. We have sacred time together for questions and answers through open office hours and a Facebook group. I do monthly oracle card readings, and then we have special events throughout the year to gather and cultivate our own inner truth, to understand it, to curate that and grow from there. Like I said, I am opening up registration today, but I'm not telling anybody until tomorrow at noon, except for you guys and my community group. If you join before tomorrow at noon, I will welcome you with open arms and give you a bonus 10-minute private oracle card reading with me, which really will go more than 10 minutes because that's just who I am. And it's the value of a 1-month membership. If you take advantage of the membership, it is a 3-month minimum, and then you can go out anytime. So it's only a 3-month minimum. Here's the big thing. The invitation to the Live in Your Truth Sisterhood for this spring 2020 second anniversary open enrollment. Look at all those 2s. Aren't they great? It begins now for just $1 for your first month. $1 tonight until April 19th. And then it's only $33 a month after that. Enrollment's open. You can go to liveinyourtruthsisterhood.com, read all about it, jump in. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. Send me a private message or an email at laurapclark@wiselivinginstitute.com, and I will answer them as fully and as best as I can. There's a frequently asked questions at the bottom of the page that gives you all the yummy information. You will not find on that page the bonus of the oracle card reading. That is right here, right now. All right? If you have any questions, you can throw them into the chat here. So, how are you going to support living your truth? Now more than ever, we really do need you to do that. Understand the 4-element theory and how it can support you. Understand your own hierarchy of needs. And understand the ring of support, how to support others compassionately through your own inner wisdom and your own truth, and how you can receive support. The Live in Your Truth Sisterhood is one avenue for that. And if not now, when? And I will tell you authentically, way before the coronavirus hit the United States, this is the offer that was going to be in place, the $1 and then the $33 a month. And I sat in with my own intuition. I talked with people. They're like, no, don't do that, Lauren. Don't do that. And truthfully, the reason I have to charge $1 is my platform needs that. I need that $1 to make sure that you're in it, right? And so that the platform can grease its wheel and you can get into the membership portal and we can get you into the Living Your Truth Facebook group. All right? So livingyourtruthsisterhood.com. And if you have any questions, I would love, love, love to hear them right now. If you have any ahas, if you have any support, I am here for you as we are coming to a conclusion here. All right. Excellent. I'm just checking on the time here. So we're at the top of the hour. I've gone a little bit over. I'm going to say goodbye and I'll turn off the recording. And then if anybody would like to have an oracle card reading, we can do that. So from Wise Living Institute Central, this has been the Awaken Your Wisdom webinar. And it's 1/11/11. And I want to send you off with much love and support. Stay healthy, stay kind, keep smiling, and follow your intuition.